Hi, I'm Alexandra,
And I'm Tiffany.
and welcome to Subtle Asian Book Club, a book club and podcast dedicated to uplifting Asian voices in the literary space.
Woo! Welcome to our very special Galentine's Day episode where we're here to chat with each other and with you about books, love, friendship, and just everything in between. So thank you for being here with us today, and let's get cozy and unwind.
Yeah, I'm excited for this.
Yes. Okay, so this is a pretty unstructured podcast, but we wanted to take this time to just talk about reading, the act of reading as a form of love and self care, and also kind of just how reading and the book community just brings us all together, both in friendship and in appreciation of things that we love. Okay, why don't we start off with how we got into reading? Because I do think books were pretty important in us forming our friendship, and also just like, I don't know, like who forming us as people, having interests to talk about. And the book club came much later, but books have been integral in our lives.
Yeah. Should I go first or do you want to go first?
Do you have a specific memory in mind?
I think I know how I got into reading.
Okay.
I feel like there's two specific books that helped me get into reading. The first one was Charlotte's Web.
Oh, yes, that is very you.
Yeah. So, I read Charlotte's Web in the third grade, and that was like the first book that I remember being like super obsessed with, where I like stayed up reading it, and then afterwards I wanted to reread it, and it was like the first book that I really like loved. And I think it also gave me like a form of comfort because I had read it when I had just moved to like this new city, and I was going to like a new school and I didn't really know anybody, and so I didn't have any friends yet. And I remember my teacher at the time, she had like a personal library in her classroom, and she was like, oh, you can take any of these books home and just like remember to bring it back. And she had Charlotte's Web, and because it was like recess time and I didn't have any friends, I was like, okay, I guess I'll just look through these books. And then I picked up Charlotte's Web, and then I got really sucked into it. And I remember I had like about like 50 pages left of the book, and it was like the copy that my teacher gave in her library. And then I begged my mom to like go to Borders so I can buy my own copy and then finish reading the book with my own copy of the book.
That was the first book.
Yeah, that was the first book. The second book was Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
And that was like, I also distinctly remember how I got into that book too. So Tiffany and I knew each other because we went to the same like ballet studio. We were in the same class. I remember one time we had like a play date or with another one of our classmates, Nancy and Aaron, and I went to their house and we were just like hanging out, and one of the girls, they had read Percy Jackson, and she was like describing it to me, and then she let me borrow her book, and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this so much, like I'm so obsessed with it. I became like super obsessed. And then it was nice because I think at the time some other people in our class, like Rebecca, had also read Percy Jackson, and we had all kind of like bonded together through that.
Okay. I'll tell you my story, but I also remember one like memory for us was I borrowed your copy of Titan's Curse.
Oh my gosh.
And returned it like absolutely in shambles. And you were like, huh?
I was
How
so upset because I
was that person. I'm sorry.
okay. I let her borrow Titan's Curse. This was also my favorite copy of the book, and I was so mad because when she returned it, like the spine was cracked in like 3 or 4 different places.
I know. It's like I put it in my backpack as a kid and was like, la 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 la.
Yeah. Like parts of the cover were like ripped off, and I was like, girl, what did you do? What did you do to this?
Okay, but then I'm so sorry. I'll get you a new one, but like in the meantime, here's this tattered copy before I can get you the new one.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I totally forgot about that, but that's funny because I know that I have a different copy of Titan's Curse in comparison to the other books. Like the cover is the same, but like my copy of Titan's Curse, like which is the newer one that you gave me, it had like a matte spine versus the other ones were
shiny.
Like shiny because it was like in a box set. But then I think if you purchased it individually, it was like a matte one, which is like honestly like a nicer version.
Okay.
But I totally forgot that happened. And so I remember when I was like packing and moving over the summer, I was like packing Titan's Curse, and I was like, I wonder why this is like different from the other ones. I was like, okay, there's like probably some reason. I just like bought it separately or something.
I think for me, I just remember going to the public library a lot as a kid just because they would have like the coolest book chairs. And then also just, it was like a really fun place for my mom and I to go. There were reading hours. I remember loving a bunch of stories like Amazing Days of Abby Hayes, a lot of the Tinkerbell Pixie Hollow books. I remember when there were like Hannah Montana, like High School Musical, those types of books, getting those. I don't I don't remember like a specific book in like the third, fourth grade. I do remember Tale of Despero, like the
Oh
little
yeah.
mouse. That one I remember a lot. But then I think oh, and then like I remember like Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen, like the detective books. Those are also fun. So I think just like having reading hour at school was something that was always just super super fun. And then eventually like started to move more into like young adult and teen books. I remember loving Vampire Academy. I remember loving The Click, Alphas, Gallagher Girls. There's a couple like in that time era that are slightly less popular. There's one called like Runaway or like Airhead.
Oh.
Let me think. The Ashleys, like very similar like genre type, but just also really fun. Oh, and I loved the Candy Apple books. Those are my favorite
Oh.
Scholastic Book Fair books.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't know. And then I just love them. It was great.
That's so fun.
Oh, sorry. I'm like just naming books. And the American Girl books. Kit,
Mm.
Samantha, I love them. I think like more recently within the last 5 years, I think I donated those copies when I was younger because I was like, I'm not going to read this. I'm a big girl now.
Yeah.
But I'm like kind of nostalgic for them. So whenever I go thrifting for books, I always try to see if they have it. And so I was able to get 3 of like the American Girl copies that I really liked when I was a kid.
Yeah. I did the same thing with like my old books too. And in hindsight, I'm like, man, I should have just kept it.
I know. Like, what does this say about society, us, just being like the desire to grow up so fast and like part ways with the things of our youth, but then being nostalgic for them, you know?
There's so many layers to that.
So many layers.
There's so many layers to that. That could be a whole podcast episode.
True. Okay. So we talked a little bit about how we got into reading and like what we love so much about it. Why don't we move a bit into how reading has formed, like how has our love for reading changed now that we're adults?
Ooh, this is good.
Thanks.
This is good. Sorry. It's because like we barely planned this podcast episode. And so Tiffany's just riffing. I'm like, ooh, I like this. Okay, wait.
You know why? It's because I had a bunch of chocolate earlier.
Wait, sorry. I liked it so much that I forgot your question.
Oh my God. Okay. So we talked about how we loved reading as a kid, right?
Yeah.
How do you think your relationship and like love of reading has evolved now that you're an adult?
Okay. Thank you for repeating that. I feel like it's like quite complex because I'm trying to map out the evolution of my relationship with reading because I think as a kid I really really enjoyed it and it was kind of like my escape because at the time or I guess like since a quite young age, like around like 12 to 14, I had decided to do ballet professionally. And I was like, okay, this is my thing, like capital T thing. But reading was always just kind of like an activity for myself. It was just like my way to wind down, my way to relax. And it was like for me and not for me to be like, I'm going to be a reader. Because also at the time, I didn't know.
It wasn't like a thing. It wasn't like an Instagram thing where you could be a reader, capital R,
Yeah.
a bookstagrammer, a book blogger. Like
Yeah.
we eventually did branch into those, but
Yeah.
no, I know what you mean. Like for me, it was like being in middle school and reading Wattpad or like reading manga.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there's something so special about just having that for yourself. There are so many responsibilities that we had in terms of like school or like you're playing piano because your like parents are telling you to play piano. But reading was truly one of the few-ish things that like we dove into because we loved it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And because at the time I was dancing ballet, I was also homeschooled throughout high school. And during that time, I was spending a lot of time by myself, like my off time when I wasn't dancing or stretching or doing anything related to dance.
Because you were homeschooled.
I play Ballad of a Homeschool Girl by Olivia Rodrigo.
True. Tiny violin.
Okay. Anyway, I was spending a lot of time alone and I was reading a lot and I was getting really into young adult novels. Like, well, actually, even prior to being homeschooled, I remember in like 7th or 8th grade, I like got really into like Divergent,
Oh, yeah, she was really into
The
Divergent.
Hunger Games, Legend by Marie Lu, all these like iconic and now crazy to
The
say
2012 classic YA
classic
fiction.
YA novels. I was super obsessed with them. And I remember in like 7th and 8th grade, I was like still going to my public school. I would talk to a lot of my friends about it, like at school. But then like once I became homeschooled, I was like reading more and more different YA novels and I had nobody to talk to. And at the time, Instagram was kind of like starting out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember once I like saw a photo of a book in my explore page and I was like, oh my gosh, I can post photos of books. Crazy. And so I just like created a bookstagram way back when and then somehow started to build a community. And then also through that, I started book blogging. But then like through that, I feel like my relationship with reading had changed because like once you become like a reviewer, then you become kind of like hypercritical
Yeah.
of books. And so I remember like starting to read and be like, okay, how can I assess this? Like, what are things?
It's becoming school report.
Exactly,
Book report.
exactly. But then I also felt like it was like different because I felt like for school report, I was like just trying to remember certain markers because I don't know if they still do this, but then I remember for school, whenever we did like a report or like whenever we had like a test on like a book, it would be like about the plot, like who did what, or like, you know, kind of like what happened.
What is the theme?
Yeah, exactly. But then I feel like for a review, the approach is a little bit different. You think about like pacing, you think about characters, you think about like world building, all of these other things that I didn't really think about in a school report. But then now, because I'm a reviewer, I'm like kind of critiquing it and judging it in the process. And so I felt like I became like, I kind of lost that sense of like enjoyment and wonder that I had as a child. And then eventually I kind of like stopped book blogging because it made me realize that I started to dislike reading as a result of this process. And then I think now I've become in a much more better place.
Yeah.
Because like now I'm like, oh, you know, I've been through all that process. I've been to a place where I really like it. And then I've been to a place where I'm highly critical of it. And now I can kind of just like be in the middle where sometimes like I will read books, like especially for a book club, I try to take it from like a more critical lens where I'm like, okay, I know like I want to contribute to our discussion. So like I want to pay attention to things that I want to say about it to like our community members, or like I want to be part of that conversation in that way. But at the same time, there's also like some books that like I just read for myself and I'm like, hee hee ha ha, that was fun.
And which one was that?
Heated Rivalry. Okay, for context, we are in the home of Tiffany.
Woo!
And she lives like, I don't know, like two to 3 hours away from me. And you know, I was planning on coming here, and last night I was like, oh, you know, like I should pack, I should wind down early. I don't have any events or things to do. And then I was like, you know what? I just feel a very strong urge to start reading Heated Rivalry. And so I was like, okay, let me just read like 1 to 2 chapters. And then I sat down, and I'm not even joking, I did not move. And I finished the book 6 or 7 hours later. And I was like, and then I blinked and it was like 1 a.m. and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah. I mean, that's great, right? Like, that's great. That's like, that's like, you know that meme, it's like when you're in flow state, like literally you're
Yes.
in flow state, you're like obsessed with the book, you're loving it. And I think that's the love of reading that it's hard to chase. Like we do chase, but it's like it can't be faked, you know, like you just have to fall into it. um yeah, no, like what you were saying, I was thinking a lot about like when I was loving like reading just for fun under the covers of my bed, like on Wattpad or like on anything. And that was just so much fun and truly just for me. And then in college, I started book blogging because you encouraged me to, because you're like, you should just talk about it with people. Because stop telling me to read this Wattpad book when I'm not going to read it. And it's fine,
Facts.
fine,
Sorry.
fine. And then I started posting about things. But then I think like once you start book blogging more regularly, and I think this is what we're seeing now with Book Talk and Bookstagram, it's like
Yeah.
people are making it a hobby slash more professional, which like you're allowed to do, but I do think it changes your dynamic and relationship with books, because I also found myself like I thought I loved it, like I do love it, but then I was kind of also chasing reading this like 100 books goal every year and everything.
Mm.
And then this year is like the first year where I'm like, I'm not gonna try to chase a 100-year goal. I'm just gonna read what I want to read, and I think that is kind of like what gets you back into that true love of it, just like reading what you want, reading what you love. Trying to make that relationship like a you and books thing, not you, books, and everyone else type of thing.
Mm. Yes.
Yeah, you know?
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Wait, I can't believe your your Goodreads goal was 100 books.
It was 100. Like, I think I hit 80 books in like 2021 or 2022.
Oh my gosh.
And then, like, from 2022, no, it was like, yeah, from 2022 to 2024, I'm pretty sure I read 100 books
Oh
every
my
single year,
gosh.
including like manga and
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah. But
graphic novels and stuff. But
yeah.
I remember like it was like winter break and I'll be trying to like marathon a book a day. And sometimes it was very enjoyable. But then sometimes I'm like, why am I doing this? Well, it's
Mm.
because I'm like so close to reaching 100. And that's
Yeah.
an arbitrary goal I just have for myself.
Yeah.
And you know, you don't need that. Like it's fun. And I totally like, we're not trying to say that if you read a lot of books, you're like invalid or whatever. Like
Mm.
you do you. But I think that is what fundamentally changed about my relationship with reading,
Mm.
is when it's hard to decipher what is truly for you, and like when you are doing that relationship for yourself.
Mm.
And I think as an adult it's harder to figure out what that is, so you're trying to like we're in the process of figuring out what that is, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally, that like reminds
And
me.
that's sorry
Oh, go.
and that's why I love reading webtoons, because I feel like with webtoons there is no goal, because it's just like a giant webtoon that I can't put into Goodreads. So then I'm just like, well, if I stay up until 5 a.m. reading this, that's for me. And I love it.
I love that for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that you're healing that part of yourself.
Thanks.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that made me think of like the performative act of reading. And I feel that way too, but like it's interesting because I don't think I felt as much, or at least I didn't put as much pressure on myself to like for the quantity of books, but then I think I like maybe subconsciously put pressure on myself for the type of books, because especially nowadays there's a certain connotation to like a book talk book versus
Okay.
like
Yeah,
lit fic
yeah.
or like intellectual
Yeah.
person book, etc., etc. And I think I like, because when you were asking me like, oh, how I got into reading, I was like thinking about my reading habits as a kid, and I think I also kind of did that as a kid, where I remember there was a period of time where I was like really into reading Goosebumps books.
Oh yeah.
But like the thing is
Never got
like,
into them. They
yeah.
look too scary.
Yeah, like the thing is I don't like scary stuff, but then I just remember like there were like a group of like, in my head, like cool kids in class who were reading them, and I was like, oh, like I want to be like cool and edgy and like not afraid of scary stuff. And so like I kept reading Goosebumps books even though like they freaked me out. And I think that has like kind of like evolved into adulthood in the form of like lit fic, or
Yes. Yes.
like very philosophy heavy, or like intellectual, whatever you want to call
Yeah.
it, type of books.
And I think it's like really great it's like there's a lot to unpack there, because it's like you can learn so much from it when you really like do dedicate yourself to it. Especially like it's very admirable if you're doing it just as a hobby, you know? But then it's also hard.
Yeah.
Like, is it performative? Is it, and it can be performative and you can still do it and like as a way to educate yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like kind of tricky to balance. And if people like, if you genuinely just enjoy it and find that relaxing, then that's lovely and great. But I think for me, sometimes it can be hard to get into those types of like lit fic, contemporary, adult novels, even though at the same time I really want to and I really enjoy it too. And so what I've been trying to do this year is like balance that. And so my tangible example of that is that I'm currently reading Wuthering Heights
Okay.
and Plato's Symposium,
Okay.
but also Heated Rivalry.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I need to have balance.
No.
Because like I do want to read books that challenge me
Yeah.
and like make me think and are like hard to read. But then I can't just only be reading that because those are hard to read. Like I'm going to
Yeah.
get lost in the sauce.
No, I agree. I think so. One of my reading goals this year is to read a children's book every month written in traditional Chinese as a way to kind of like spark that inner child and also learn traditional Chinese. But also, like, that is like just one goal, right? Everything else is like, I'm going to read all the fun books that I want to read and all the books we have for the book club and stuff like that. Let's talk about books in the form of community and how it's like brought us closer to people we love or people we didn't know that much before, but like got greater appreciation with, things like that. So some early memories before I dive into like more recent ones is I remember one memory was like with the Click series, you went to an author signing with Lacey Harrison and I couldn't go and I was really, really sad. But you got me a signed copy of the character that I related to the most, which was Claire. And so that one was like a very touching like childhood memory related to books and community. And then another memory that I was thinking of was I'm pretty sure I watched like all the Hunger Games movies and also all the Divergent and maybe even the Shadowhunters and also the Vampire Academy series movie with like the same group of friends, like with like you, with our childhood friends like Rebecca and Jessica. And then I think it's really heartwarming that like that we were able to do all those things together, like the Hunger Games series, like literally every single book together, because they did not come out like all at once.
Yeah. I remember when like very pivotal books came out, like Mark of Athena, when that came out, and us as a collective were experiencing
The
that.
Tumblr community.
Yeah.
I love the Tumblr community.
Yes. The 2016 trend is coming back. It's bringing Tumblr back.
We have the best memes.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like a childhood one is like definitely, I guess, with you and our close friends, because I do think like, yes, we became friends because we were in the same like ballet class, but also I think like books were a huge part of our friendship. It was like definitely like one of the core things in the friendship. And so because I had close friends who also enjoyed reading, I definitely think that made me enjoy reading even more.
Yes.
Because even though reading is a very like individual solitary activity, it's not like it's very rarely that you read in a group.
Yeah.
Like one single book. But like the fact that like we were able to like come together and like talk about all of our favorite books and like recommend each other books and like, you know, just like have this with each other, I think was like really refreshing, and it gave a good affirmation for me, like being like, oh, like I'm not like strange for you know, feeling these things about like literally just words on pages.
You know, it's crazy. I'm pretty sure the first line to my like MBA Yale essay was like something along the lines of like, most people view reading as a solitary activity, but books were the reason why I never felt truly alone. Something along those lines. And I was like, oh, Tiffany, you were onto something.
Yeah. Period.
Okay, how about more recently? Like maybe either with like the book club, with online book community. How have you found community through that? Dude, should I be an interviewer? A news reporter? Okay, sorry. Continue.
I'm gonna keep that in because girl. Okay. For more recently, definitely the book club. I feel like
Yeah.
the most like community that I feel in relation to books is definitely through the book club, because that is like something that is reoccurring, and for me like a source of like comfort. Like, oh, I know I can come to this place, which is our Discord server, and like talk about anything related to books, not even necessarily related to books. It could be like a book adaptation of something,
Yeah.
or it's like a show that like references a book, or something along those lines. I would say like maybe even broader, just like stories in general, and know that like I have a sense of support. So I really appreciate like what we have in our Discord server, and you know, all the people who are part of that journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm not going to say like the book club because I also agree.
Yeah.
But I also think just like all the international friends I've made, and also just like not even international, just like friends who don't live a block away from me that we've been able to make. Because like Cordo's from Hawaii, Ray's from New York, like Nina's from DC. There's friends in like the Philippines and France. And it's crazy to think that at the time, like I was a girl like going to college in the Midwest, and I could make friends with people from all over the world and have true friendships, and like we seek each other out when we are available in person and things like that. And I think that's really powerful, that books and the internet can bring that all together. Okay, do you have more to say here? Because I just had another fun idea.
Go for it.
Okay, we're gonna do a little game show segment.
What?
But it's not a game. Okay, actually, okay. Before we jump into that, okay, let's first do, what are your favorite book to movie adaptations?
Ooh.
Pick three.
Pick three.
Pick three.
Oh.
We can go one at a time. One. Like, okay, for me, I'm going to go with To All the Boys I Loved Before. Love.
Okay. The first that came to mind is The Hunger Games.
Okay, yeah, I was
And
thinking
I
that
think
too.
that's just like because it's nostalgic. Because I think I had like very high expectations, and they were met.
They were
like
met.
I met like I remember being in that theater literally with you,
Yeah.
like sitting next to you, and being like, oh my gosh, like Katniss's backpack is actually orange. Oh my gosh, she spins around and like fire actually comes up, and like, yeah.
No, I remember that too. Actually, I'm good at ending there. Okay, I really liked, let me think. I'm trying to like go through the carousel in my mind of Netflix movies and Amazon movies and Disney.
I feel like there's so many.
There's so many, that's why.
There's so many.
And then there's also some that like didn't really do it for me, and I was like a little let down.
There's a lot of those.
I know.
There's a lot of those.
Should we just end it there?
Yeah.
Okay. 3-1.
Sorry.
Okay, so now here's the fun part. We're gonna play To All the Boys I Loved Before, like love letters, right? But it's like to all the book people I've loved before.
Ooh, okay.
This is not like limiting. Like obviously we love so many things. This is just for fun.
Oh my gosh. You
Okay,
okay?
wait.
You go first, because clearly.
How about I'll give us categories.
What? Oh. Okay. Okay.
The first one is going to be nostalgic to your early blogging days. So maybe like a blogging friend. Shout out.
I need to like.
Oh my
be
God,
on
we're
my
unprepared.
laptop. No. I feel like I'm so like not good at remembering things on the spot.
Yeah.
It's okay. Okay. I do like this though. Okay, go. Do you have a blogging friend or a book that like you
Well, okay,
remember
originally
from
I was
your
going to
early
do
days?
an arc, but then I was like, that feels like that's important, and I think I'll have a lot to say.
Oh, okay, sorry. I have
Okay.
a book from my early blogging days. I would say The Darkest Minds
Oh, yes.
by Alexandra Bracken. I think that I was so obsessed with this series. Like I can't even put to words. And it's like crazy to me because eventually like I became a blogger, and then eventually Alexandra Bracken followed me on Instagram,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I made it. And then it was even crazier because I'm like, okay, well, I follow a lot of people, but then I don't necessarily like remember every single one of them. Like it's like, oh, like I remember like this person's like a book blogger, but I may not necessarily remember their name or anything like that.
Yeah.
But then like I remember that I got invited to the Darkest Minds movie premiere from Alexandra Bracken, and I saw her there and she was like, "Oh my gosh, like I love everything you make." And I was like crying. I was not well. That was crazy.
Nice. Okay, that was a good one. I think for me, I'm gonna go with the people one, just because I'm like thinking chronologically in that sense, because I made the friends first before anything. And I'm thinking of like the same group of early blogging friends, like Shalea, Kay, Fatwa, Amy, just
I thought you could only pick one person.
that group of the early blogging CW.
Oh yeah.
I love you guys. Oh my god, Abby. Sorry, I'm done. That's like 5. That's like the whole thing. Just kidding.
Excuse me.
I'm making this game up. I can change the rules if I want to.
Okay. Okay.
So, for you, Nikki.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's tough because like I feel like for early blogging, I started blogging over 10 years ago, so like so many people aren't blogging anymore.
Yeah.
What immediately came to mind is Anika, which I don't think you know her.
Mm-mm.
But she stopped blogging a long time ago. But yeah.
Okay, let's go back to all the boys, to all the book. Okay, well, let's say to all the book event you loved before, but you just said The Darkest Minds.
I think that's fine. I think for me I would just pick the book, not necessarily the book event. For book event, I think I would pick BookCon.
Must be nice.
Sorry.
I never got to go to BookCon or Book Expo.
Yeah, no, for me it was definitely BookCon. I think that's also like a cop out answer because like there were a lot of events that happened at
Yeah,
BookCon.
that's fair. That's
There were
fair.
a lot of people that I met at BookCon.
That's also fair.
Like people that I had already known online and then like met like, in person for the first time, and it was like crazy because it was like over 100 people, and it was like I was like neutrals with, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're all here.
Yeah.
Yeah, BookCon.
I think this past winter I went to a romance like gingerbread house making event, and then kind of like similar to Alexandra Bracken, Susan Lee invited me, and she's so nice.
Oh my god.
And she was like, she was giving like her little like speech, and then she saw me and she was like, hi, Tiffany. And then I like was freaking out on the inside, and I was just like, I love romance, and I love romance books, and I love romance authors and everything.
I love that for you.
Thank you. To all the books I loved before, this time it's going to be, what are 3, I'm just spelling it right now, 3 books you love that we've read as a book club?
Okay, yes, I did want to do this before this episode ended. Okay, do you want to go first?
Oh my god.
Because I need to go back and see the list of all the books that we read, because
I'm just peeking over at your computer. Oh, okay. I loved We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi. Loved it. I think it was an amazing, like impactful, left me thinking so many days after, about a middle grade book about Japanese internment. I think it's fantastic and can be read by anyone of any age. And Tracy Chi was also like such a lovely human being to interview. I would also say the second one would be, I feel like it's a cop out to say Babel, but I also really loved Babel. And I really love like getting to talk to Rebecca again. I think we had some of the most interesting and fun discussions as a book club.
Do you have a third one?
Maybe a tie between Homeseeking. Maybe Homeseeking. I really did love Homeseeking so much. But I also feel like you're going to say Homeseeking. So I want to say something different. Can you scroll back down?
I was going to say Homeseeking.
Can you scroll back down?
Okay.
Go back to 2022.
2022? That was a good reading year.
That was a great reading year. I feel like I know what you're going to say.
What? Okay. You're going to say yours, and then I want to know what you think that I'm going to say.
Scroll back down to 2021. Oh, 2021 was a great reading year. Okay, let me... Oh, I love that one. Okay, maybe I'll go with The Mountain Sing. Just because this one was recommended by our friend Brianna, and she had such great things to say about the book. And so when we read it, I felt so much closer to her as a friend. I felt so much more like knowledgeable about Vietnam. Yeah, and it was like a wonderful historical fiction book. I think a lot of people adore Pachinko for being an intergenerational novel. And I think if you love Pachinko, you will love The Mountain Sing. Okay, if I had to guess your books.
Okay.
Homeseeking.
Uh-huh.
The Paper Menagerie. Against the Loveless World? Or As Long as Lemon Trees Grow.
Close.
Okay, which one?
I was going to
Stationery Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Girl!
But those are great books.
We're good friends. We're good friends.
Galentine.
Yes, Galentines. I feel like this is a kind of a hard question, but do you have any favorite bookish friendships? Oh wait, actually, I do have one in mind.
Okay, you go first because I don't know anything.
Rin and Katai from the Poppy War. Sorry.
I love them.
I think you love them more than I love them. I love them, but
do.
I know you love them.
I do.
You love them.
Painful.
Man, I'm just looking through the backlog of the books we read.
I know. Some of them were so good.
We were
clocking it.
We were good. This selection.
Yeah. I love the friendships that are formed within found family.
So like
the Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and just like Six of Crows, everything along that genre, where I love love, but I love the love people have for each other platonically too, and just wanting the best for each other.
I love that.
Thanks.
That was amazing. Okay, that's a good note to end on.
Yes. Thank you for celebrating Galentine/Palentines with us.
Or Valentines.
And we hope we get to see you again and spread even more love and friendship.
Yes, if you would like to hear more from us, join the book club. You can check us out at subtleasianbookclub.com, where it'll have a link to our Discord, and that is where most of our discussion happens.
Yes. So have a lovely, lovely February, March, April, rest of 2026, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!